guys, welcome to How to Grow a Garden. So I am in the middle, I'm in the intermediate part, covered in soil. I'm in the intermediate part of my garden. I'm doing the perennial garden here over at the cottage. This is where I live. If you're new to the channel and you're not sure, I did these stairs a few weeks ago. I just pulled out and moved, or am moving the rhubarb, the 3 rhubarbs I did a video on not too long ago. And I've got some Solomon seal. Now there's a monster huge patch and I've been spreading it all over the place. It's over in the perennial garden, the big walled perennial garden, and I've been breaking it up and putting it all over the place in there. And now I'm finally at, there's still a ton left, so I have a lot more to go. But I've decided to bring some of that over here because this particular part is in the shade. So this little garden right here to the right of these stones, these stairs, let me back up and show you what I mean. So going up towards Bella, I need to leave a path on the edge of the fence so that obviously I can access the fence and I can do any maintenance that needs to be done. And this fence is really to keep the predators away from the goats, not to keep the goats away from anything else. They come out quite often. They break out all the time, and they also, I let them out, of course. I go in to do things and they come out, or they just come out and go for walks with me, and you know, we jump in the car and we drive all over and we have lots of fun and take them to different properties and let them run around. It's good, but they don't eat my flowers. And now I know that sounds insane. The reason why they don't eat my flowers is because I say nip nip, which means danger and do not do that. And then also the garden hose comes out and they get sprayed. So they stop eating it. That being said, if I left them alone for a long time and I wasn't here, I think they would certainly eat the daylilies because they love them. On the right, we're gonna have the shade garden here. And then in the middle, the only spot that's not really in shade is the center garden up here. And of course, on the other side, we have directly opposite, there's the window box, which is another huge garden. And then to the left, way over there, we have a border bed which is backing onto this cedar fence. I moved the cedar fence a little while ago and I built all these stairs, and there is a video about that. At least I filmed it. I don't know that I posted it, but I did film it, and if I didn't post it, I will get to that and try to get that out there. Get that out to you as soon as possible, because this was quite a lot of fun to do. Actually, moving this was quite the process too. So I put some delphiniums, some Spar delphiniums, a whole bunch of phlox, and some hollyhocks into that bed. There's also some sage and salvia, which is kind of the same thing, up in there. Oh, jelly bean. Hi, what are you doing? You're so soft, jelly bean. So soft. So I know it's really tempting when you have a whole bunch of flowers to plant them you know, in different orders, so like red, yellow, blue, or make them symmetrical, red in the middle, blue on both sides, and then yellow on both sides, and blah, blah, blah. My preference, and this is only my preference, of course, you can do anything you want, is to color block them in small drifts, okay? So not like monster huge patches that are square and make no sense, but in this case, I'm putting a bunch of hollyhocks together. And then there's an echinacea at the back, and I'll put more echinacea behind that. And then I've got phlox at the top. Now the phlox are pinks and blues and pinks. I might move this blue over so that's a bigger selection of blue. And then if I put another pink in it, it will have to be over there or way down there, way down at the end of this bed, because I don't want pink, blue, pink, blue, pink, blue. But I do want to carry some of this feeling that's behind me in this garden over into the new one over here. So I'm also going to put in a few Veronicas. So they're going to go maybe down here-ish. I've got a whole bunch of, what are they called? Pagan purples, which are delphiniums. A whole bunch of pagan purple delphiniums, which are like the true purple delphinium. And I would like to put them where it's partial, mostly full sun, maybe a little less than full sun, but full sun will be ideal. So somewhere in here. And also it's very important that I can see them from where I have my coffee, which is just in this room. So the point here is try not to mix and match too much. Always buy your perennials, my personal opinion again, always buy your perennials in 3s or 5s, but never just one, and then cluster them together. So even though you're really excited and the urge to spread them out is great, cluster them together. Put a whole bunch of one thing together and a whole bunch of the next thing together, and put them together within the big bed so that you have these beautiful droves. So it doesn't look like one flower that pulls your eye, it's like this big drift of one beautiful color. Other than having a gorgeous garden, my main objective when it comes to spreading the plants is to get more. The more I break up the plants, the more I spread the plants around, the more plants I am going to have in order to break up and spread around. So if you're looking at your perennials and you're thinking, you know what, that's getting pretty big, but you're unsure if you should break it up, if you should go ahead and divide it, do it. Go ahead and divide it. Even if it's really small, it's not the end of the world. The things you don't want to divide are things like peonies. They will not flower if you divide them. But when they get too big, you do need to divide them. So even though they won't flower the next year, it's still a good idea. Speaking of peonies, this one does not have black spot, and the reason why, now I could show you later, or I could just tell you, the ones in the walled garden all have black spot, which means they're covered in little black dots. So this one is perfectly healthy. Look at those gorgeous green leaves. The reason why peonies get black spot is because they are crowded, they don't have any air circulation, and most importantly, they're not in full sun. So, or even partial sun, partial to full sun. Peonies want at least 6 hours, 7 hours a day. 8 hours is good, even better. But if you can do like 12 hours, you're really, really, really good. But absolutely no less than 6 hours. And even then, I think it's pushing it. There are other plants like bee balm, which in my personal opinion, I've been planting bee balm everywhere. And the ones that are in full sun seem to do okay, very well, but they seem to flower and die off quickly. The ones that are in slight shade or partial sun do a lot better. They don't flower as quickly, but they flower a lot longer. Peony, some phlox, back in here. There's 300 different versions of Likespar. This is a delphinium. It's a blue. It's called a pagan's purple, or pagan purples. This is a beautiful hollyhock. It unfortunately won't get very tall. And then there's some phlox in behind that, and another delphinium here, some sage, some more phlox, delphinium, sage, some more phlox, some more hollyhocks, and then more sage up there. Right, so this is echinacea. I was growing this on the north side of the garden, so it has very little sun, and I dug it up, and each one of these little leaves, there's about 2 leaves. If I can pull it out, I can show you. 2 leaves per plant. So this whole thing is full of echinacea, which I've grown from seed, and I've divided them, put a bunch in here. This is the actual plant, and there's one over there that's blooming. So if you're not sure what echinacea looks like when it blooms, it's a beautiful plant. It's native to our area. It is really good for us. We can make tea out of it. So this is echinacea. This, of course, is hollyhock. This beautiful one. I've cut all the leaves off this hollyhock. They're just starting to come back because I transplanted this one and this one. They were both brought in here, so all the leaves had to go. So I will be doing a video on how to grow, or how to plant, take care of, and grow delphiniums. And actually, I should probably go through and do a video on each one of these, how to transplant or how to plant all of these different things, because it's obviously useful, and I'm sure some of you would like to know. This one is really pretty. It's not quite blooming right now. It's a little bit done, but it's called Kiss Me at the Gate. I just love the name. And I've got that in here a few times. I've divided it, just small little bunches. Over in the big garden, the huge perennial garden, there's tons and tons, and I've divided it, moved it absolutely everywhere. So I took a very small amount, and I moved it around here too, so this should also start spreading. So I hope that helps. If you guys are planting and you're going out and you've got all these plants and you're just not sure what to do with them, just remember my biggest tip is do not plant all over the place. Plant in drifts and try to keep your colors somewhat similar. Think about the way you dress, not the way I'm dressed today. This is total outside stuff, but think about how you dress and how you wouldn't put on 100 colors. You don't want to clash or look like you're dancing at an 80s party. You want something that is very soothing to the eye and that flows really well. I was Scarlett, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later. Toodaloo!